Hello and welcome to the Franco Observer. This is episode 4 of the Franco Observer. I am your host, Jason Rudy, and on this episode we review the film Satanic Sisters, is the original export title, but the USA and UK DVD title is Sexy Sisters, and that's what it's released under here. This is the 81st film that Jess Franco directed. He did this in 1977, and this is part of the Erwin C. Dietrich collection that he directed with him. That he directed for him. He directed under many producers during his time, but for him, I believe it's 17 or 18 films. I gotta do my count again and see for sure as I do my research. But at first I kept reading 16, then it was 17, but then as I was counting on my collection, I think it was like 17, but yeah, anyway, so I'll go into that at a later time. But yeah, this is the 81st film that Jess Franco did. He did this for Dietrich in 1977. He shot this he shot this right after he shot Blue Rita, and after this he did Love Camp, so this fits in right nicely in there. With a lot of his films, as I've mentioned before, he has reoccurring groups of actors, which I like about him a lot. Kind of like later on, like John Waters did, and Martin Scorsese, and Paul Thomas Anderson, and you have certain guys you like to work with, certain gals you like to work with, and he just reoccurring through. Like this one, you don't have Howard Vernon, but you have Jack Taylor. And it's that's how he did that. So this was, like I said, this was filmed in early of 1977 for Dietrich. As we talk about in the review, I go over all the different titles that it was released under. I really enjoyed this film. Of the 4 that we reviewed, this is probably my favorite so far. The cast is Pamela Stanford, plays Countess Edna Louise Schiller, also known as Edie. She's the lead in this, and she's in quite a few Franco films. She's really strong. She's probably the best actress of this bunch here, actor and actresses. She's really strong. She has really good facial features. She really camps it up as the role as the evil stepsister. And then Corinne Gambert plays Millie Antonio Van Stein. She's Edie's sister, the nymphomaniac that's kept in the cage. We'd watched her last in Voodoo Passion, and she's in this again. She's in a few Franco films as well, so it's cool to see her pop up again. Then, of course, we have Jack Taylor as Dr. Charles Barnes, a.k.a. Carlos Barros. And, he's masquerading as a doctor, and that's Edie's boyfriend, and he's actually an actor, as you see in the film, a poster of his from a comedy that he had done, which is a cool touch. The maid is played by Esther Moser. She's Sarah the maid, and, she was in a few of the films we had watched as well. Kurt Meineke plays Joe, Millie's lover. Joe, he's the guy in the racing jacket. And what's cool about this film is Franco, like always, shows different, I don't know what the right word would be, archetype or different personalities of people. Like with this, he has I'd say the 2 sisters, which are opposites. The Edie is very domineering and strong and forceful and looking after herself and very conniving in that. Then you have Millie, who's just very shy and innocent and just all sexual, but they're both sexual beings, but their sex is used in different purposes. Edie is more into herself and using it to achieve power, while Millie is just into the sensations and the feeling of sex and just to release it from her. So that was kind of cool to see the differences between the two. And then, of course, you have the maid and the nurses and that, which are just following along and very sexual as well, and they just fulfilled that purpose. So you have those three, which is different. And then in the men, you have Joe, who's just a guy that's just wanting to score, but is good at heart and intentful. And then you have Eric's character, like Joe the Barfly. He's just straight sex, straight through. And then you have the blonde gigolo, who's very evil, like Edie, where he is a rapist, and he's just takes Millie and just goes for anal sex only. Just very vile and just very base. So those three are kind of different from each other, which is cool as well. So he mirrors the three different types for the women and the three different types for the men in this film that he portrays. So I thought that was a cool touch. So he has that little dealing there. He uses the drug aspect where the doctor injects Millie with a drug, and he uses that in quite a few other films where being under the control of a drug that makes you do their purpose to carry on the motive. That I really liked. On this film, it was released on DVD in the United States through Full Moon, and you can get it at www.fullmoondirect.com. That's the cheapest price. If you go to Amazon, I'm looking at it right now, they're selling the DVD for $24.99, and you can get it at Full Moon Direct anywhere from, $6 to $10, maybe $12 at the most, so it's like half the price or a third of the price. You can also get this film through the import that we got before. Let's see. It's the Ascot Elite one, the Just Franco Goya collection, that I found through DAVDEE storefront through Amazon. You got to kind of search. If you first go through their storefront, it's not there, but if you look under some of the titles or directors, it pops up. That's about $36.99, the Blu-ray of that. I don't know. I think they're the same running time because the cheaper DVD from Full Moon runs quite long. It's like 86 minutes, and it seemed everything was there from some of the angles and that. So, I mean, it's still softcore, but there's a couple hardcore shots, but very, very, very fleeting. I looked up the Amazon reviews for this, and there really wasn't any Amazon reviews. There was Amazon reviews on Sexy Sisters for this, but it was like, wasn't anything funny to do a podcast on. It was just like, not good, bad graphics, just some dumb shit like that. So that part I'm not going to put in this episode because it wasn't worthy. Let's see, what else do we want to go through here? We got our release dates in, we got the different titles, Amazon reviews. That looks like what I want to do. So this was the little opening here. Like me and Eric say later on in the review, I recommend it. Say check it out. The cinematography is good. Some of the things that we talked about after the episode was over that we wish we would have said, so now I'm recording now into the beginning. There's some really cool shots in here we forgot to talk about. Franco sets up his shots really well in this. There's a nice sequence where they're walking over a little bridge leaving the estate, and that's a really nice master shot from the side, or from the small bridge going across. I like how he found on the beach the one long piece of driftwood. Either they brought it in or it was there, and when the gals come in from the ocean and sit, it's framed really well. The woods on the right side, kind of boxing in the frame. So yeah, it looks good. There's quite a few nice shots in here. Really, really good cinematography. Definitely a step up from the quicker hardcore sex films like White Skin, Black Thighs, and those. So, but yeah, I definitely say very good film. And once again, that's going to wrap up this opening portion of the Franco Observer. We're going to basically tackle the Erwin C. Dietrich collection with Eric and I, and also in the works, we will have some special episodes with friends of mine from different parts of the United States that I'm going to be doing this with Zoom. So the sound quality might be different. I'm going to record them and then go through and try to work on the levels and the editing, the sound editing, which I do for all these. Oh, also, too, one thing on the review, you listen ahead. We recorded for the first time with two mics into a little board going out into the recorder, And it looked like it was only a mono track with 2 mics, so after I record this, I'm going to go through and start doing the sound editing, and I'll look at the track and see. There might be a sound difference. I might end up releasing it as mono, seeing what it sounds like, or taking the mono track and doubling it and lining it up, which might be longer. So if it's, I don't know, we'll see. But we're going to do that experiment. And like I said, this is the show, 4th episode. We're still finding our way and working out the sound bugs. But been hearing that the sound is good, not leaving my levels low, making sure everything's loud and good and positive listening experience. So thank you for supporting the Franco Observer Podcast. Please share the word. Please tell your friends. Please post it. Tell people about it. Franco fans, non-Franco fans. What I'm trying to do here is basically go through and review every Franco film. And Eric and I will do a lot of them. But I'm also showing them and doing reviews with other Franco fans and people that have never seen a Franco film. So you can spread the word of Franco and get new followers that way and get people to appreciate his films and, show his films to some eyes that may have never seen or wouldn't have never seen his films. So that's the aspect here, is to spread the good word. So thanks for listening, and on we go to the review portion. Hello and welcome to the Franco Observer. This is episode 4. I am your host, Jason Rudy, and sitting along with me is my co-host, Eric Whitwell.
Hey.
Just want to say this is the first show where we have a 2-mic system, so now I could just say, hey, Eric, how are you doing today?
I'm doing fine, Jason. How are you?
Wow, I didn't have to pass the mic back and forth. It's like pretty cool.
It's so much freedom.
Yeah, I can actually talk to you and look at you or not look at you and still have to carry the conversation, which is good. And not have to fucking pass the mic back and forth. Excuse the language. All right, so tonight we watched, for this 4th episode, we decided to watch Sexy Sisters, which was also the export title Satanic Sisters, which was the title card that popped up on the German original version that we watched, and that really threw Eric for a loop because he's like, why is it called Satanic Sisters?
It made no sense.
Yeah, there's nothing satanic. There was no devil worship, no black masses, no incantations, no pentagrams, pentacles, anything like that. So
sitar music. Maybe the poster that was in the background. Maybe.
Yeah, maybe something like that could be, but
yeah,
but that kind of was interesting, but so that was right off the bat. But yeah, it was Sexy Sisters on the DVD. This was probably, of the 4 so far, my favorite Franco film.
Yeah, really good. I agree.
Yeah, Eric dug a lot too. This where we're saying, okay, is Sexy Sisters, but the export main title is Satanic Sisters. When it played in the UK later, it was called Swedish Nympho Slaves. When it played Spain, it was Sexual Aberrations of a Hot Blonde.
They knew how to sell tickets.
Yeah, really pushing the sex angle hard. And for the Italian theatrical, it was Erotic Frenzy of a Nymphomaniac. And that was, of course, the Sexy Sisters with the US-UK DVD title. I like the NL video. That would probably be the Netherlands. It was called Randy Sisters.
Randy Sisters.
Randy Sisters.
I'm Randy.
Yeah, the Randy Sisters. I don't know. The Randy Sisters really doesn't sound very erotic for American audiences. It's more like a male's name, Randy.
Yeah. Was Randy a term for that before it became a male's name?
I don't know. I know it's like a European, like, oh, she's so Randy, But, I don't know. That's interesting. And then the 1978 trade title reported in Variety as the Diabolic Sisters, which, as you watch the movie, only one of the sisters is diabolic, not 2. Also, 2 Vicious Sisters, Your Devil in My Hell.
Wow.
Yeah, a lot of titles. And so that was that. The shooting date on this was early 1977. So early, I would guess maybe February, March. It was released September 1st of 1977 in Germany. That was the certificate date, and came out the next day, September 2nd, actually, of 77. After that, played Zurich, February of 78, and played Turin in March, and Italian censor gave it in January 25th, played there 79. Played throughout 79 in Paris, Rome, played in London, 1980, played in Seville in 81, Barcelona in 81. We have listeners in Barcelona, among many places. And also in Madrid, played in 82, February of 82. We have listeners there, so that's pretty cool. And then we played finally in Warsaw, June of 82. The theatrical running time, Switzerland, was 84 minutes. The version we watched says 86 minutes. I don't know if that's just the conversion time, if it's the same print or what. I would imagine it would be. The German print said was 78.55, and the Blu-ray running time of the Ascot Elite version is 76 minutes and 7 minutes. And the Ascot Elite, the Just Franco Gold and Goya collections, those are usually pretty long and uncut, so I don't know. The Full Moon version we watched, the DVD, was really good. The print was really nice. I don't know. The colors were really well. Getting into how the film was and the quality of it is, first, the quality of the DVD I thought was really good. Of course, once you get past all the Charles Band shit in the beginning. But once you get to the film, it gets going good. Before we go into the film and all the storyline and the synopsis and everything, Eric, what did you think about the film?
Yeah, I agree with you. It definitely was it's been my favorite so far. The shot locations. He's really good at his cinematography, just his shot setups, and it's really this one really showed a lot of his artistic abilities. I don't know. I'm trying to find words, but
what did you think of the posters in the woman's apartment?
That was awesome. That was awesome. Like, that threw me off. Just cats. They had cats all over the wall. Like house cats. Like, just big, blown-up pictures of house cats.
Yeah, it was like black and white poster montage of different cats. Black cats, white cats. There's even a dog picture thrown in there.
Yeah, one random dog picture. And there was, there was nothing about it that made you think that this was supposed to be cat-like. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know. You would think that there was some kind of symbolism in that, but...
Well, there's the crude joke that I'll leave to the viewer or listeners' ears, but yeah, I don't know. I think it was just what was this, 77? I don't know. It might have just been like a 77 pop fashion kind of thing, and I don't know. I think it was cool. It was just,
I thought it was cool too.
Kind of Andy Warhol type thing, like you were saying earlier. But
I kind of want one. I think I'd put up a picture of a cat now in my place.
Yeah, I remember around that time frame being a kid, and then there was like a lot of Charlie Chaplin stuff like that, where there's a couple pictures of Charlie Chaplin or W.C. Fields and stuff like that, where they were taking a classic image and just repeating it 3 or 4 times in an actual picture, So
yeah, like Andy Warhol.
Like that, But it's just, you've seen that a lot in theaters and stuff. So I don't know. I think you're just copying that through. So yeah, basically, Sexy Sisters. Title said Satanic Sisters, like that. Like most Franco films, this one just got off to the start to let you know that you're watching a Franco film, because there's a 2-girl nude sex dance club scene, basically. You have the 2 girls on stage with multiple viewers sitting in the club watching. It's in almost all of his films.
It almost started off the same way too, as the white skin on black thighs, and where the woman goes up to the man and is like, "I want you. I'm going to take you with me." Yeah.
You're totally correct. I didn't even think about that. Yeah. So it starts off with the 2 naked women, and they're wearing these really cool masks. And actually, we had both remarked that of his so far the scene. I mean, Vampiros Lesbos he hasn't seen yet, but that's probably the best one. But for the dance scene, but this had a really fucking cool look. They had these kabuki looking masks, and they were these jade or
I don't know, they're just like a cool, I don't know, I think they're like wooden masks that were carved and possibly and painted. They looked really cool. The two nude women had them on, and then, I don't know, they were touching each other very slowly and methodically, and then that basically just like started off when they were doing that.
And there's a guy playing a sitar in the over to the side. There's like two guys. One guy was playing the sitar.
Yeah, no, it was actually a very cool number. I guess all the music in this film were the music cues and other music used in the other Dietrich films, which I did recognize a lot of it, but that sitar one I didn't recognize right off the bat. But so you see the guy in there watching, and Pamela Stanford's character, Edie, Edna. Edie basically goes in and like talks to the guy, and basically she picks him up and takes him home, or she leaves with him in his VW Bug, and they drive off to a beach, and they start kissing, and he takes her top down and stuff, and they have some really funny dialogue between the two, and she comments about how big his dick is, and he says it's the gear shift, and she says, well, if your dick doesn't do the job, then I'll ride your gear shift later. And they're laughing along, and it's actually a pretty funny, witty dialogue scene.
Yeah.
And everything up to that point, we're like, wow, this is actually a really good Jess Franco film. Like, it's a good story, it's a good setup, and it's been used before, but it moves, it's got good locations. He's actually traveling outside of the sets, and you're seeing cool things, and it starts moving. And then she ends up taking the guy home, and she takes him back to her place, and she basically just kind of like leaves him to be. And then that's when we see her sister in the room, and her sister's name is Millie. And we'd watched her, and the actress playing Millie is Corinne Gambier, and she's Millicent Millie Antonia Van Stein, Edie's sister. And then you watch, you learn that it's her stepsister from her father's marriage. But yeah, she basically takes the guy Joe into the room, leaves him, and then we see her sister, and her sister is chained with gold handcuffs to the ceiling wall, and her arms are in the air, and she's behind these gold bars, and which I wondered if that was a reference to Golden Cage, a Franco film I haven't yet seen or bought, but I'm going to get soon. So you see her in the bed, chained up with the gold chains, or the gold handcuffs, and then the gold bars. And later on in the movie, it's funny, I caught watching it, the gold bars you see were actually made of wood, and you see a knot in the wood for the fucking gold bar. That's supposed to be a prison cell. So why would there be a fucking knot in a fucking bar? Anyway,
like a high-tech prison cell too. Like it's like it opens automatically.
Yeah. It's like a fucking remote control gold bar, sliding door cage, but there's a wood fucking knot in the thing.
Yeah.
So I don't know if it was just gold foil or what. Yeah, not get out of it. Exactly. So we see Millie in there, and she's writhing in bed, and she's naked, and she's amazingly hot, and she's like this bleach blonde actress that's in quite a few Franco films, as we're discovering and watching. She's really good in this. She basically moans for him to come over, and the door's open, and he goes over, and they have like long sex. There's like a long sex scene, and actually, I jumped over a part, because before that, is that the man Edna gets going first?
When so Edna was playing around with him, then she leaves, and her sister says, I brought you something, and she goes, but I need you to watch. You have to watch.
But was that the guy Edna blows in the beginning, or was that a difference? Okay, yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, so the Edna's character, like, starts making out with the guy a little bit, and then, like, actually, like, starts sucking his dick a little bit. It was like, wow, this is actually made it in the movie. And then it, like, stopped real fast, and then other things happen. And then she, like, leaves him. She's like, oh, blah, blah, blah. And then she goes, and then he meets her sister, and then they have sex and stuff, which I mentioned. So basically, while Joe's fucking the sister, and he remarks, you're a wildcat, which was my favorite line of the movie. Because that's like a really romantic line to say to a girl.
Yeah.
When you're having sex with her. You're a wild cat.
With pictures of cats everywhere.
Yeah, good call. I didn't really catch the the deal on that. But yeah, it was pretty funny. But it's on one channel. Okay, that's fine. Alrighty, so yeah, so we see that go through, and so as he's saying that to her, Edna gets the candle off the candelabra and starts really going to town with the candle. But yeah, so that was interesting. So in this scene when she was masturbating with the candle, I had made notes that in Voodoo Passion, a woman masturbates with a champagne bottle rubs against her, and in White Skin, Black Thighs, it was a cucumber, and in this one, it was a candle. So we have a candle, a cucumber, and a champagne bottle, the 3 C's. So,
The 3 C's.
yeah, candle, champagne, and cucumber. So, I don't know. That was something I noticed. Just, I don't know. I have a weird mind, so anyway. So yeah, so and then after that transpires, the guy wakes up after he has sex with his sister and is real good. They say they love each other and stuff, and he says he'll see her again. And then he goes to sleep, and he wakes up, and he's in his VW bus on the beach where he had been before. So then he's like, "Oh, was it a dream or what?" And he realizes his car is dead. And he's you know, but the character Joe, I know Eric really dug his racing jacket. Yeah, he was like wearing this racing jacket that was like, you know, and he looked, I mean, I really don't know how old the guy was, but he looked a lot older than Millie did, because Millie's supposed to be just turning 21, and he looked like 41 maybe or something.
He looked like he'd been smoking cigarettes for like 21 years.
Yeah. Or he was like smoking crack for like 2 months or something. But yeah, so I don't know. So yeah, he but so anyway, so then he wake up and stuff, and then we were introduced to the character of Dr. Barnes, which is played by the great Jack Taylor. And he has a similar role like this in Voodoo Passion, where he's playing a doctor, and you think he's like caring for the person, but he's actually got his own plans and his own ulterior motives, I should say. So basically, we find out that Millie is a nymphomaniac, and that Dr. Barnes, Jack Taylor's character, is treating her and giving her injections to relax her, and she tells him that she had sex with Joe, and he tells her, "No, this is just a fantasy that you're having." And then she says, "Oh," and he says, "You're having these fantasies, and you're having delusions, and you're schizophrenic, and all this other stuff." So then he tells her, "Yeah, we will let you go swimming in the beach, in the sea, you know, for like a half hour, whatever it was, 15 minutes or half hour, and the nurse will go with you, and that's really fine." So then he disappears with the nurse, and then Millie overhears him talking shit about her to the nurse, saying that she has these conditions and that she's very sick, and that the nurse needs to stop being attracted to her and trying to be with her. So then the next scene is Millie takes the nurse to swim nude at the beach, and it's a really long scene where they're diving in the water, and when they walk out, Millie takes a bump in the water, walking back.
And just falls.
Yeah, just falls. Basically just biffs it. And then she gets up and walks back, and then the nurse about biffs it about twice, coming out after her. And which is really cool, the next sequence, and like I thought it was a goof, but then when you realize that it's something different, it makes sense, because they're swimming, they're completely naked, wet, and then the next scene they go to lay down on the beach on their little fold out deals, and when they lay down like on the towel or whatever, they're both completely dry. Their hair is dry, their skin's dry. It's like they filmed it before they even got in the water, that sequence. So you're thinking, wait, dude, this is a goof. They're like dry. Why would they be like not wet coming out of the fucking sea? Well, you realize that it was a dream sequence by Millie, that she was hallucinating that part because she's slapped awake by the nurse. And she says, "Oh, I knew you were dreaming about something, or you were in pain." So she slaps her, Maria, the nurse. But yeah, so anyway, so then basically they get her drugged up, and then you find out as the film progresses that Millie's going to inherit a bunch of money when she turns 21, unless she's legally unable to, or unless she's mentally unable or physically unable or sick or whatever to get the money. Then her sister will inherit the money, And then you find out that her sister, Edna, is basically trying to drive her insane or driving her to die or to do something so she could take over the money, and she's her stepsister. But what we jumped over is a bunch of other sequences that you find out why Millie is the way she is, what she saw when she was a kid with her stepsister and her. And you see just stuff that was very shot really well, but it was very odd. The stuff when she was a kid, you know.
Yeah. Well, it's kind of funny because like when she first hooked up with that guy Joe, she says, I need you to watch like I watched you when I was a kid. And, you're like, okay, well, so she needs the voyeuristic. And then all of a sudden, like, yeah, it shows that what you were speaking of. The blondest man I've ever seen in my life. I don't know. Are we going to get into this right now?
Yeah, we could.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, yeah, it shows the sister.
He's billed as blonde gigolo, by the way.
Blonde gigolo. Oh,
Yeah.
it's fitting. That's accurate.
And his
description.
name, he's uncredited. His name's Mike Montana. Wow.
Mike,
uncredited. Mike Montana, blonde gigolo.
Mike Montana from Germany.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. So he's having sex with Eddie, the sister, and all of a sudden you look, and underneath the bed is like this 12-year-old girl, just like almost like horrified, like looking up. You're like, what the hell? Like this girl's like watching her sister, and then.
But what's weird is like basically Millie's supposed to be like 12 or 13 or maybe 14, and then like Edie is like the same age she is now. So you're like, wait a minute, that's like, I don't know, maybe 10 years difference maybe. And I don't know, I guess she's not aged that much in 10 years, but that part. And they filmed, of course, in different shots, so the young girl wasn't really under the bed. You could see that they shot that separately.
I really hope that.
Yeah. And then looking through the chair, watch while they were doing it too. But anyway, I'm sorry. Go ahead, Eric.
Oh no! It was just it was just a strange scene, And then the young girl escapes, and all of a sudden the guy jumps up and says, "Don't run away!" And you're just like, "Whoa! Like what's going on here?" Yeah.
Yeah, it was very odd. I mean that, and then of course Eric Falk is in it again, and he plays Tom, a barfly, and. That was probably the funniest sequence, I think, in the film is when he basically Edie picks him up in the bar and says, "Hey, I'll take home fuck you and stuff, but I want you to fuck my sister and stuff." And he goes in to have sex with her, and he's wearing his leather jacket and nothing else. And so he's wearing his big fucking leather jacket, like zipped up and shit, with this big fucking buckle at the bottom as he's fucking her. And then he pretends to have a heart attack and dies. And then the woman says, "Okay, you help me. We got to get rid of the body. We must take off all of his clothes." And I'm like, he's wearing just a fucking jacket. Why you got to take off all of his clothes? I don't know. That was kind of stupid. But yeah, and then of course the gigolo was that scene was pretty funny because it was very odd because he had raped the daughter the girl Millie when she was a kid, and then he returns to have sex with her now. It's just pretty sleazy,
Yeah.
But so that was that. And then, so basically, in the end, Joe finally finds out where she lives, and Joe saves her. And the ending's kind of rushed, to be totally honest with you. It just kind of like wraps up and just kind of stumbles home. He just kind of comes in and wraps everything up, and then the sister has to leave with the crooked doctor, Dr. Barnes, but he doesn't want her to leave with him, and he just backs out of the shot, and then it just ends with no end credits, nothing. Just kind of and they're like in two different locations. You could tell because she's talking to him off set, and he pulls up by the sea in the background, and in the background of them is like trees and a whole forest. So I don't know.
Yeah, it was like the end. It's like here's like there's supposed to be this immense wealth, like this great inheritance that they're like fighting that she's trying to get from her sister, and it's like, oh no, we're not going to do. We know what's going on. Okay, all right, that's it. We're done.
Yeah, it's just kind of like, all right, and okay, so you're going to live with her. Okay, well I'm going to go. Okay, well. Okay, well then you can stay with me. Okay, bye, and it just ends.
Yeah.
Oh, but and also to the this is which I totally didn't mention in the beginning. This is one of the Erwin C. Dietrich films, and so of course you see his Rolls Royce in it again from Rolls Royce Baby, and that makes an appearance. I'm pretty sure that was his car. Being a really rich producer, I'm sure like that was his Rolls Royce, and he got to use it for certain films because it's a really fucking awesome prop, and it's a beautiful car.
Beautiful car.
It's got like a snake's fucking mouth above the light, or next to the light, or whatever it is, and it was badass. Also, too, I had noticed that the red bed appears at the end of the film with, I think it was the scene with Jack Taylor and the two girls. Jack Taylor has another interesting love-making scene, I guess. He's basically naked in bed with the two girls, and they're drinking champagne, and then they proceed to like get ready to fuck. But it's like they're like trying to push each other over the other person, and they're like wrestling, or like, I don't know. It's just
like
bizarre.
They're playing steamroller.
Yeah, they're like pushing the person over the person and rolling and just jump. And it's like I don't know. It's no love or eroticism or sex or nothing to it. It's just bizarre. I don't know. That really threw me off, But yeah. So then we noticed the gold foil on the door was pretty funny. It's supposed to be like this gold door, but it was like gold wrapping paper. And toward the end, you start seeing the bubbles in the door and stuff. So that was pretty funny. But no, I mean, this so far, I think this was the best Franco film of the four that we reviewed. There's some really great shots. He uses the pull focus on the eyes with the ring light reflection in the eyes, which I like, that he used in Voodoo Passion. He uses that again in here. There's a lot of exterior shots. There's really cool sunlight in this film. Although you can tell the apartment's a set because there's blinds, and behind the blinds is like the blue sky, even though it's night. And Joe comes in and he stands behind the window, which is supposed to be the sky, but it's nighttime. But then he comes around the window. But how can you come around a window if there's supposed to be a wall there? It just fucking doesn't make sense. I don't know. Yeah. So, but you can tell it's a fucking wall, and that it was set. And so yeah. So that there's a couple low budget funny things in there. But yeah, no, I think of the four, it's had definitely plot structure, some of the same story of the the drugs, like he shot her in the butt with. That was probably some kind of a sex stimulant drug, something to make her an nymphomaniac, like they used in Shining Sex and in a couple of the Franco films where they have the drug is the thing that changes the person. Also in Voodoo Passion, they use that with the hypnosis. Yeah, with this one, controlling somebody's mind was basically a recurring theme. The doctor being very deceptive and doing the ulterior motive. The two sisters, of course, at that time, that was a standard plot line of one person getting money and the other person trying to swindle the person out of the money and trying to take off. That was like, especially 60s, 70s, that was a very common TV movie theme, very common movie theme, especially European and American. That was pretty standard. So yeah, that was just kind of like that sequence. But yeah, I definitely enjoyed it the best. I thought it was definitely a lot better than White Skin, Black Thighs. Definitely. And, definitely didn't have the star power as Count Dracula, but I thought all the characters were good.
Yeah.
I think Pamela Stanford was good. Carice Gambier was good. The two female leads, of course, Jack Taylor was Jack Taylor. Esther Mosier, Sarah the maid, she was good. Joe, Millie's lover, of course, he's, with his fucking racing jacket. Millie's nurse, Marina Graff, she was in she was in Black Skin, White Thighs, or White Skin, Black Thighs. Let's see, Mike Montana, of course, you know about that guy, the blonde gigolo. I don't know if they used him again. Of course, Eric Falk made another appearance. He's in quite a few of these Franco films during this period, and Dietrich used him a lot. Walter Baumgartner played Dr. Arcos. That was a scene where she goes to get the doctor's recommendation and tries to get it written down to give to the power to the attorney to try to take over the will and everything. And then I guess Jess Franco is in it. He plays the piano player in the bar, but you only see his hands. And I guess in one of the German press photos, you see a scene of him sitting at the piano playing at the bar. So he is the piano player in that. Lena Romea is not in this one again. I'm curious. I have to look at her credit history and see what she was doing around this time frame, because she's not in very many of the Dietrich films, just a few, and you would think she'd be in like almost all of them. But yeah, so I don't know. I enjoyed it. You liked it too?
Yeah, I really did. It had me so confused in the beginning. Like, okay, so what's going on? Like, why is she chained up? Like, why? What's wrong? Like, what's going on? Like, what's her sister doing? And I was actually really interested.
yeah. It kind of like starts you off one way, and then it kind of explains things as it goes along, like a film should. And then, I don't know, there's some things they mix between what's real and what's not real and stuff, which is cool. I mean, it kind of mixes it up a little bit. Sometimes it pisses people off because you go, oh, I thought that was real. Damn it, it wasn't real. What did I want? But yeah, I thought it was good too. But yeah, I almost feel like this podcast episode is almost like the movie itself. I'm having a hard time kind of wrapping it up.
Yeah, yeah. It's well, maybe we should just wrap it up like the movie did.
Yeah, I just kind of like stumbled toward the end. But yeah, I'd say, I'll say that this was the full moon DVD release of it, Sexy Sisters. It's definitely a good deal. It's like $10 or less. Like I said, you can get the Franco box set, all 10 films for like $60. A lot of times, if you watch it, it goes on sale, $60-$80. That's like $6 a film. That's fucking steal. Especially this version. The coloring looked good. It was a nice copy. Looked pretty full. Looked like very, very minuscule cuts. Like I said, you see partial blowjob scene, a lot of female oral sex scenes. Joe humping Millie's leg, which was pretty funny. I was laughing. He was like fucking her knee and her thigh, and then he like moved over right. But yeah, I was like, come on, dude, what the fuck? Very, very, very staged. But yeah, I definitely recommend it. Definitely say check it out. Sexy Sisters. Find it on Amazon, deep discount, all that good shit. So once again, thank you all. Noticing the numbers are going good. Happy with the podcast so far coming out. We have about 8 different countries listening to us. Very happy to see that. Very happy to see a lot of cool places where Franco made films and done all that. Definitely European, all that good stuff. So yeah, we're going to keep doing this. Pretty much always wanting to drop on Saturday or Sunday. Releasing on Saturday, Sunday, filming during the week, doing all the editing, and then having it ready for the weekend. So keep listening, keep putting it out. So once again, thank you for listening to the Franco Podcast. I am your host, Jason Rudy, and my co-host, Eric Whitwell. So, very, very, very eloquent. Yeah. So, all right. Well, thank you for listening, and once again, watch Jess Franco films, and keep Jess Franco in your heart. Good night.
Beautiful nights.